doktor.
Okay. So now traffic tu laju sikit, then I can get hold of the computer and get start. Senang sikit. I risau juga kalau on the phone kan, tengah bercakap on the phone takut tak very clear in terms of my messages kan. InsyaAllah dalam 1.5 minit ni sampai lah. I will on it up. Berapa orang ramai dalam group at the present moment? How many people? Any idea? Okay, alright, good. I'm just about half a minute away now. Alright. Yeah, about half a minute tunggu traffic light ni aja. Lepas ni I pusing, I sampai rumah.
Okay, doktor.
Alright, hold on Well, in the meantime, I still have on the phone, just in case
bersatu kita warga UiTM, kita bangsa perkasa, taat dan setiaku untuk negara, penuh semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terlupa pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa. Kita jangan mudah terleka kemajuan keamanan yang ada. Kita berterima kasih pada pemimpin-pemimpin negara. Kita rasa penuh bersyukur kerahmatan kemuliaan darinya. Kamilah pendukung pewaris bangsa, kamilah penarat bangsa Malaysia, kamilah warga berwawasan untuk negaraku.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka sami'un alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim, innaka barrul jawadul karim. Ya Allah, Engkaulah yang mempunyai segala kepujian, Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kepujian, dan Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran. Engkaulah yang memiliki segala pemerintahan, di tangan Engkau segala kebajikan, kepada Engkaulah kembali segala urusan. Allahumma ya Karim ya Rahim, curilah rahmat dan rahimmu ke atas majlis program resume crafting skill workshop and cracking interview ini ya Allah, yang akan diadakan pada hari ini. Berkatilah ia dari awal hingga ke akhirnya. Ya fa'alu lima yurid. Kami juga memohon perlindungan daripadamu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat celakan majlis kami, dan daripada segala perkara yang melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu. Padamu juga kami serah segala urusan kami. Rabbana alaika tawakkalna wa ilaika anabna wa ilaikal masir. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam UiTM di hatiku, and hi everyone. Saya Yasmin binti Salahuddin selaku Ketua Program bagi Resume Crafting Skill Workshop and Cracking Interview ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada seluruh ahli jawatan kuasa yang terlibat secara langsung atau tidak langsung dalam membantu saya untuk menjayakan program pada hari ini. Selain itu, saya juga ingin mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada penceramah kita hari ini, iaitu Dr. Teknologi Nur Salatul Akmal binti Manzilan, di atas kesudian beliau untuk meluangkan masa bagi menjadi penceramah pada hari ini. Diharapkan program ini dapat memberikan ilmu baharu kepada para peserta tentang kaedah membuat resume dan cara untuk menghadapi sesi interview dengan betul. Program ini tidak akan dapat dilaksanakan tanpa sokongan anda semua. Akhir kata, diharapkan program seperti ini dapat dilaksanakan lagi pada masa yang akan datang agar maklumat berkaitan bina kerjaya dapat terus dikongsi bersama. Sekian, terima kasih.
untuk berkongsi dan berdiskusi bersama dalam slot petang kita pada hari ini. Jadi dengan sedikit pembukaan program sebentar tadi, maka dengan ini bermulalah slot perkongsian. Jadi izinkan saya untuk menjemput dan memperkenalkan ahli panel yang telah dijemput untuk berkongsi inputnya bersama kita, iaitu Dr. Teknologis Nur Saidatul Akmal binti Mazlan. Selamat datang Doktor, apa khabar?
Alhamdulillah, apa khabar? Alhamdulillah. Syukur, Alhamdulillah.
Okey, baiklah. Dr. Nur merupakan seorang jurulatih pengurusan strategik dan berunding dengan lebih 30 tahun pengalaman, pakar dalam perancangan dan strategi organisasi, di mana dia memfasilitasi bengkel dan perancangan perniagaan dan dasar, pemikiran strategik dan organisasi tingkah laku, pengurusan operasi dan pembinaan pasukan dan keperluan latihan kompetensi. Baiklah, sekarang saya akan serahkan slot ni kepada Dr. Nur Saidatul Akmal. Silakan Doktor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih pengurusi majlis, Cik Nurailiah ya, dan juga kepada semua penganjur ya. Saya nampak sini nama orang siapa, Cik Iwan, Cik Fatin, Cik Azim ya. Semua ni merupakan salah seorang daripada ahli-ahli kira penganjur yang hebat-hebat ya. Alhamdulillah, saya tahu bahawa pada hari ini kita memang dicabari dengan berbagai dugaan, kerana tahu sekarang musim terkejut, musim hujan ya. Kita tak menduga hujan tu akan berpanjangan selama 2-3 malam dah. Tapi saya rasa kita insya-Allah kita akan cuba sedaya upaya untuk memberi ilmu-ilmu yang sepatutnya. Pada hari ini saya sudah pun menyediakan slide-slide yang tertentu ya untuk kita bermulakan sesi saya ya, dalam keadaan bagaimana kita nak mencuburi satu bidang dalam kerjaya sekiranya kita tidak mempunyai ilmu-ilmu yang mencukupi untuk menyediakan kita punya keterampilan kita. Kita tahu bahawa kita semua dah menjalankan tugas sebagai pelajar. Tapi bila dah habis pembelajaran, habis dunia akademik, nak pergi ke dunia reality, which is dunia industri, dunia kerjaya. So bagaimana kita sebagai seorang yang akan memasuki dunia industri ini dapat berkecimpung, dapat memberi idea-idea baru kepada industri-industri yang mungkin mereka amat peka kepada inovasi, amat peka kepada keadaan semasa, dan begitu juga amat peka memerlukan kaki tangan ataupun pekerja-pekerja yang bukan setakat mahir tetapi berleluasa dari segi ilmunya. Jadi saya di sini saya nak terangkan sedikit apa yang perlu ada dalam kita punya resume, dalam kita punya curriculum vitae, dan apa yang selalunya yang ramai daripada kita punya kita panggil pegawai-pegawai industri kita yang ingin melihat dari apa yang ditulis dalam resume ya. Okey, saya minta bantuan supaya slide saya diberi dipamerkan. Okey, terima kasih kepada UiTM Sungai Petani kerana telah pun membuat laluan kepada kami untuk memberi sedikit kita panggil perkongsian idea tentang bagaimana nak buat resume crafting. Perkataan crafting ni sendiri dah membuatkan satu elemen designing ya, iaitu mereka sesuatu yang mungkin membawakan kepada first impression daripada penilai, bagaimana mereka melihat seseorang itu menterampilkan diri dia. Ya, kita sebagai industri yang memilih pekerja ataupun sama ada untuk dalam negeri, luar negeri, kita akan tahu sama ada pekerja baru ini boleh menghadirikan diri sama ada dari segi keterampilan diri ataupun boleh menjalankan tugas seperti mana yang dikedaki mengikut kekosongan-kekosongan yang sedia ada. Now, saya nak tahu penganjur sama ada saya ni diminta bercakap dalam bahasa Inggeris atau dalam bahasa Malaysia? Mana satu?
Terpulang kepada keselesaan doktor sendiri.
Okey, kadang-kadang saya akan bercakap dalam bahasa Inggeris bukan memudahkan kita punya daripada penyampaian ya, sebab kebanyakan daripada saya punya persembahan saya adalah dalam bahasa Inggeris. So izinkan saya ya kalau saya bercakap dalam bahasa Inggeris ya. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for those people out there who's looking for the right kind of jobs, it's very important yeah, when you want to draft your resume, the first thing, never do a copycat drafting. A copycat drafting means you always want to find someone else's resume which you believe that's the perfect one. No, there's no such thing as a perfect resume. What is more important is your original way of how you want to design your resume, respect about yourself, because you are talking about yourself. Okay, next slide, please. Now, when you're talking about doing yourself an explanation about what is it that people want to know about you, since you have no experience and probably it's the first time you're going to introduce about yourself. All right, everything about you should be good, right? Because that's what you are in terms of your academic excellence. Now, academic excellence doesn't mean that you can do a good job, yeah? Because a lot of the job that people are looking for are not necessarily looking for excellence candidate. They're looking for the right kind of candidate for the right kind of job, and which is very much related towards attitude. Okay, so a lot of time people think that people were always looking for the good guys in terms of good marks. Many times people are looking for the right person for the right job in the right attitude. Okay, always look at the point of view. People will always hire you for attitude, not so much for the skill as yet, because skill is something that you develop over time. Now, in terms of knowledge, that's where your competency of comprehension, what you have developed for your past years of acquiring knowledge. Everybody can acquire knowledge. But in terms of work attitude, it is related to the person. What kind of person are you? You know, are you a people person? Are you a machine person? Or are you more of a creative person? That's more about your interest in developing yourself for your career. So look at point of view, you as a person. Okay, next. Now, for those who wants to know about my slide, I'm sure later on the organizer will share with you a lot of our slide. But what I want to share with you, how do you want to make yourself to be relevant? When I use the word relevant, means how do you make people believe in you? Does you really walk the talk? All right? Do you really have people who's going to talk about you? You know, bila kita bercakap dengan orang akan refer, oh, anak sekian-sekian tu, dia dah pernah kerja kat sini. There is always a referrals. Now, why is referrals important? Because they want to make believe that what you say is true. Now, never put a reference always towards the last, because you always think the person who wants to know about you is the person who's in the last bottom end of your resume, right? That is where you say, feel free to call my resume, my referrals if you believe you want to talk to them. Now, put in the shoes of, does the referent knows about whom this person is? Right? Because are being referred, it's just like a directory. So don't make your referrals as a directory. Make the referrals as the person who believe in what you are. And then when the referrals look at your resume and look at it and say, this is what you are, he or she, they just want to add more towards what you have just written about yourself. Okay? Never make your resume with referrals which are just a directory, a list on your resume. Okay? So many of you like that definitely want to have recommendations. Okay? Definitely needs to have some element of indication of experience. All of you has got experience. Experience in terms of working somewhere else, maybe you don't have. But experience in project, experience in community development, experience in working something on your own, that definitely you have got experience. But do not declare yourself have no experience, because it looks like as if that you have never communicated with anyone with respect towards the industrial people. You have worked with internship during your internship time. That's an experience. So bring yourself forward as people who have got that kind of exposure. Do not just say, I just finished my my degree, and I just finished my diploma, and yet I have no experience. It looks very low on you. So always explain yourself. What are the levels of experience you have? Because it really enrich your resume. Okay? Next. Now, what's the difference between resume and CV? I guess a lot of you will know the difference, right? Okay, next. In terms of the definition or the abbreviation of our CV, it comes from the word that was a lot of time being used by many people. It's called curriculum vitae. Now, curriculum vitae indicates of what have been your academic knowledge, the course of your life. Yeah, academic knowledge, curriculum. What have you been taught about? So that's where you call curriculum vitae. Yeah. So when you talk about going into a course, people say, show me your curriculum. In other words, if someone is going to teach something, they will say, what is the curriculum that you're teaching about? That means the subject matter expert. Now, so when you are writing about a resume, you're talking about the knowledge that you acquire during your what I call academic life. So that is where you start to put a lot of your knowledge in terms of what are the things that you have learned. That's why it's called a CV. All right. So the difference is because whether it is about the knowledge that you acquired, or is it because of the experience that you wanted to share? So there's always a learning respect the two, difference between the two. Okay, next. Now, these are the items, which I'm not going to go through one by one, but if you look at it, a lot of it is restricted towards your experience in the academic world. Okay, now, the part that you need to, of course, look at is not so much the item about your personal profile, but it's more about how you look at the strength of your knowledge in relation to an industry, in relation to the people that you communicate, in relation to the planet that you want to save, and in relation to the economy that you probably has got yourself involved in. That's why you need to really blend yourself, Blend yourself in the sense that you're not just having academic excellence, you also have got industrial excellence, you also has got a lot of passion or respect towards the climate exchange, for example, or your ability to do some element of business in upgrading yourself towards the economy. So again, that will make your, what I call your CV become much more enriched. Enriched in the sense that ada banyak inti, ada banyak elemen-elemen. Contoh, macam kalau kita nak makan sesuatu pie ataupun sesuatu pizza ataupun sesuatu curry puff, kita tengok pada intinya. Kalau intinya padat, intinya banyak spices and rasa sedap, is because intinya penuh dengan ramuan-ramuan yang menarik. Begitu juga dengan kita punya resume, dengan kita punya CV. Kita nakkan kita punya pengisian tu menarik. Sekiranya tak menarik, dan of course kita akan rasa kita punya curry puff atau kita punya pie ataupun kita punya pizza itu amat cetek dan lemah. That's why you can see. So kalau kita nak menjadi seorang yang packer dalam sesuatu perkara, kita nak cerita mana pengisian yang tinggi dalam kita punya akademik. Is it dalam bidang mana? Dalam bidang environment, dalam bidang perniagaan, dalam bidang penulisan, dalam bidang bahasa. Itu yang kita kena kuatkan, sebab itu yang merupakan you punya excellence dalam you punya pengisian penjiwaan you. Apa yang dipenuhi dalam jiwa you. Kalau dalam jiwa you dipenuhi dengan bahasa-bahasa yang berbagai-bagai, multilingual. So that's where you akan menjadi packer tentang kepenuhan pengisian ilmu you. Kalau you packer dalam bidang fisik contoh, dalam bidang sains, dan you punya elemen adalah dalam bidang research contoh. So that's where pengisian dalam you punya resume itu mesti tebal dari segi apa yang you fokus dalam you punya pengisian masa. Alright? supaya you boleh nampak pengisian tu. Bukan dari segi menulis dari segi struktur saja, ya. Okay, you must understand that. Kita nak tengok inti dia. Di manakah fokus inti tu? Adakah terlebih dalam dari segi inti mana? Inti research, inti bahasa, inti apa dia kata budaya contohnya, ataupun inti dalam bidang perniagaan. So all this will make your resume become more padat. Okay, next. Okay, this is a sample of what an academic resume is all about, and a lot of people will have a different kind of format, different kind of color, different kind of apa dipanggil tools yang you akan pakai. Sekarang ada banyak software tools, sama ada Canva, sama ada Excel, macam-macam tools yang you boleh pakai yang menarik. Yeah. But people are not going to be attracted by colors alone. People are not going to be attracted just by the formatting alone. Yeah, not about the what they call the how this resume being displayed. But the point is what is expected that is going to come out from that. The outcome of the resume itu mestilah mempunyai satu outcome yang tinggi. So kalau CV itu mempunyai inti-inti yang padat, yang pekat dengan elemen-elemen yang menarik, maka secara tak langsung orang akan ingin membaca CV tersebut. Ramai orang dia akan skip CV itu sebab dia tahu ini macam standard CV saja. It's like what I call like mass market. Mass market maksudnya CV ni habis dapat banyak geling-geling saya boleh dapat. Tapi itu bukan merupakan yang menarik. Kita nak cari CV yang bukan dari segi dia punya description, tapi dari segi watak CV tu. Ya, contohnya watak tu watak yang bagaimana? Watak yang menonjol apa? Bukan watak dari segi structure saja. Okay, next. Okay, this is more about how you summarize a CV. Next. Okay, this is a very simple understanding about what a resume should look like. Yeah, next. Okay, this is how a professional resume will have its feel and look. Okay, next. Now, there's 4 key points, the differences. Tadi kita talking about a resume and a curriculum YT. Can you see that the difference? A resume is always much more simplistic, yeah. Whereas a curriculum YT will become more detailed, right? So it all depends on to whom you want to give your description about yourself. For example, ramai orang mungkin dia kata saya nak bagi resume saya. So resume itu dia akan be very kita panggil dia macam executive summary, yeah. So more written towards you want to talk about in a shorter version, whereas a curriculum batik is very much in a detailed version because dia akan cerita tentang you punya acquired of knowledge. Tapi kalau you tengok bila tengok beza dia between macam mana orang nak melihat kita punya talent tu tadi, kita kena sediakan dua ni tadi. Resume dengan curriculum kena ada. Kita tak boleh kata, oh saya nak sediakan CV saja dan bukan resume. You have to have both. Right? Because bukan semua orang nak isi yang padat. Bukan semua orang nak isi yang cetek. Tapi bila serta masa mengikut kehendak klien tersebut ataupun syarikat tersebut, dia boleh skim, ya, dia boleh tahu. Kalau dia kata saya nak resume, maksudnya the decision maker, orang yang akan membuat keputusan itu, dia inginkan perkara yang apa yang dia nak lihat sahaja. Okay, whereas someone who's looking to hire, they need to know the detail because dia perlu memberi jawapan yang tepat kepada dia punya superior, kepada dia punya organisasi tentang kenapa seseorang itu layak. Tapi bila seorang itu nak membuat keputusan, selalu memerlukan keputusan yang pantas. So dia perlukan a very short understanding about the person tu tadi melalui the short version of dia punya CV. Okay? So kena tahu pada siapa kita nak hantar. Kalau you hantar pada HR, contoh. Kalau hantar pada HR dia nak tahu dari segi matching dengan job description. Okay, matching dengan job description, you kena tengok apa yang dia minta dan adakah apa yang you ada tu memenuhi syarat-syarat tersebut. Jangan hantar kerana you just want to get a job. And this is always the problem. Saya terima banyak CV, banyak resume kerana they just macam nak lambakkan aja. Kita tak ada masa untuk nak melihat lambakan tu. Sebab kita tahu bahawa kita nak cari the one that has got the right matching. Alright? Because matching tu merupakan sesuatu yang paling penting. Nah, kalau matching dia kata, I don't need high-end proficient in English. I don't need, dia kata. So you jangan sebut you are proficient in English and you are everything. So maksudnya mereka yang ada know how to read, write and membaca tu tadi senang untuk dipikirkan sebagai this job is not high-end job yang need high-end English. Sebab dia kata low professional English is only needed or necessary. Alright, so you know the position dia tu is very much into element of mechanical. Maksudnya bukan perlu technical sangat. Dia very much into dia punya culture dia is on low end punya job, right? That doesn't mean you will not get your salary. You will get your salary, but the requirement is not as high as what you wanted to give. Because yours is on knowledge base. Knowledge base normally are very needed on organisation yang memerlukan knowledge. Certain companies, they don't need the knowledge. They only need the attitude. So kalau you want to apply a job, always look from the point of view, what does the employer wants? They're looking for attitude or they're looking for knowledge or looking for skill. Kalau dia kata, I don't need high-end skill people, I don't need high-end knowledge people, means they're looking for attitude. So if you got the right attitude, then you can apply the job. But if you do not have the right attitude, do not send any resume because you will feel frustrated in the sense that they will not even shortlist you because that's not the requirement of the job description yang dia nak. So you have to always look at the job description. Why are they looking for low-end English proficiency? Why are they looking for basic qualification? Because they're looking for people who got the right mindset to work for the right kind of job function. Okay, next. So there are three types of resume. Of course, it's text resume, visual resume, or infographic resume. Now, a lot of you have been doing text resume because this has been traditional way of putting resume. The superior, the previous bosses, the previous people, all the people from the past, there's always prepare a text resume. Now, some of the resumes that has got a different version called the visual resume. Visual resume means resume that is in the form of video, that is in the form of audio, that is in the form of multimedia, all right? Because the people know that they don't have time to do interview. They have no time to even look at your resume in a writing context, in the text context. They want to see the person itself, the voice, the language, or probably the body language. They will look it through the video. So visual resume become one of the popular ways on how people want to select the fastest way on reading a person, And the other one is called infographic resume. No, don't worry. Regarding the work I do, regarding the activities that I do, because video tend to little bit better regarding the.
Maaf doktor.
Okay.
Maaf doktor, line doktor tak berapa nak elok sangat.
One on the phone. Okay, we had one on the phone. Okay, we had one on the Wait, can I have next? Can we go on the next slide? Can we go on the next slide? Can we go on the next slide? Can we go on the next slide?
Okey, boleh doktor.
Okay. All right. Mungkin my internet is not very good from the iPhone, right? So let's see whether I can join here. Now, go on the next slide, please. Ya, boleh move ke the next slide? I need the slides to be changed. Boleh? Because the slide is not moving. Nurailia, can you hear me?
Ya, boleh doktor. Maaf doktor, mengikut slide dalam Google Meet dah bertukar. Dari pandangan doktor macam mana?
Dia masih lagi biru.
Oh,
Masih
ya.
slide biru. Maybe you can refresh on the
Saya rasa mungkin
refresh on the
maafkan saya rasa mungkin line doktor kot.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then okay, now I see the slides are changing. Okay. Any idea on which page are we now? I tak nampak slide. I cannot see the slide.
Buat masa sekarang
Okay.
slide number 16.
Okay, traditional resume, yeah? Okay. Now, this is very much a traditional resume. So we don't want to go through this resume, okay? We need to go to the new version of a resume. Okay, this is just an example of traditional resume. Okay, we can go next. Okay. Right now, I wanted to share with you. Right now, I want to share with you, with respect towards when you look at the behavior of lots of people right now, especially now with the pandemic, people are receiving thousands of resumes, thousands. Yeah. So how do you want to give a good how to call how do you want to stand out in terms of that your resume is going to be uh, on top of the people. So this is a strategy that you need. Tens of resumes that are coming in. They are coming by the abundance. Kalau dulu nak dapat satu resume mungkin quality resume mungkin susah. Sekarang quality resume memang banyak. Okay, memang banyak. So how do you want to bring out in the manner that people will pick your resumes, right? So this is some of the new innovative ways that we need to really understand what is exactly the trend right now. Okay, sekarang ni banyak orang pergi kepada portal untuk letakkan resume ataupun CV ke dalam portal yang mungkin ramai orang subscribe to the portal. Contoh, Job Street satu portal, mudah.com satu portal, Monsters satu portal, where it all depends on where you want to go. There are so many international portal yang allow people to put down their CV for free. Even Malaysia, our HRDF atau HRD Corp pun dia ada banyak portal-portal yang menggalakkan macam Perkeso juga menggalakkan supaya orang letak resume mereka dalam keadaan resume itu boleh dipilih dengan mudah. Tapi sebenarnya pemilihan amat susah sebab banyak elemen-elemen yang membuatkan resume tersebut itu terlalu ramai untuk dipilih. Jadi this is where to make your resume stand out, you mesti pakai satu strategi called the SEO, Search Engine Optimization. Kalau you punya resume, kalau you letak dalam Search Engine Optimization, resume you dipilih ke tidak? Itu strategi. Kalau you tahu dalam digital world, sekarang ni orang pakai SEO, search engine. So if your resume is not in the search engine, macam mana you punya resume nak terlekat? So you have to look at, it's not about your style of your resume or your the colorful resume and whatsoever. It's all about who is it that when they search, they got to see you. They got you top on the list. That's called SEO. All right. Now, so if you know that everybody is going to the digital world, so if your resume is not digitized in that manner, then you're going to lose out, regardless of how many times you send to whichever portal. All right, because all the portal has got a search engine. So kalau you punya resume doesn't strike with a search engine, then you lose out. Okay, next. You have to look at the trends. Next, yeah. So, what is it that makes your resumes being captured or being captivated? Yeah, it's all because linked to the recruiter punya way of searching. Now, all recruiters, including myself, we search not because we run out of CVs. We search by the keywords. All right. Now, if your resumes are not inside the search engine and doesn't include the keywords, then your resume will not be shortlisted. So shortlisting is a strategy in all recruiters. They akan type 2 or 3 keywords, and once they hit their keywords and they got the right CV, that's those CVs that is going to come on top. Okay, so make sure a perfect CV, it's not about your formatting. It's about what are the keywords that normally a recruiter would type. Now, if your recruiter is going to type, let's say, somebody who's got qualification on certified API, contoh, because that is a requirement of a certain job. So certified API would be the keyword that the recruiter would be typing. And if your resume doesn't have it, you will not pop up, right? So this is where you got to look at the job description, which are very key. Highlight that key and put that key into your search engine optimization. That will make a recruiter find you very fast, be it from international, be it from local. Okay, next. So infographic resumes, it's more relevant for people who are looking for what I call index in terms of summarizing the whole job of the person, or summarizing the person's talent in a manner that it is graphically done, which is a beautiful way on how you should look about yourself, as summarizing everything in the form of data. Now, data is very important because data gives you a lot of description about the person. Now, what does people look for in a data? Look at all the survey research of about how people want to look at addressing certain what I call industry problem. Let's say right now, people are looking for climate change issues, looking for waste management, looking for sustainability impact assessment, looking for people who have got skill in looking at what they call circular economy. Thus, your resume has that element of data inside your infographics in terms of how you address all these issues. So this again will reflect your ability to have your resumes been shortlisted. Because let's say Malaysian waste management on plastic, it's going up to 45%. I'm just giving an example. And you want to say waste management is part of your passion in you solving your problem, because this is something that you have already done in your project paper on waste management. That will make a lot of recruiters, project managers, researchers want to work with people who have got that experience. So when you talk about industry standards on infographics, look at the statistics where we are not so good about, or what we are so good about, so that you match with your resume because you have it. All right, because you're looking at your resume matching with certain element of weaknesses which the country is facing. Right now, people are looking at plastic issues, people looking at waste management issues, people looking at climate change issues, looking at agricultural issues. So is your resume infographics matching with that infographics? Right? So that will help you to stand out. Okay, next. So what you want to follow, always go for the latest trends of things, because as you got trendy, because you are already in the digital world, you got to be in the digital format and in a manner that your data is interesting enough for you to also highlight some of the things that you have done in your research work, in your academic work, which a lot of us out there in the industry do not know. So if you look at your resume as someone who has done a couple of research, a couple of findings, a couple of solution problem solving, put it in your resume as part of your infographics on how you've able to resolve some issues. That will make your resume become more infographics, because infographics has no meaning on a resume other than about you solving some of the issues related to climate change, related to we call economic indicators, or relating to us people, social impact, whatever. So, for example, right now, a lot of people are going to e-commerce. A lot of people are going to logistics. A lot of people are going into elements of how they want to become a digital marketer. People looking for digital marketer. So whether you are a degree in chemistry or degree in biology or whatever, it doesn't matter. But the fact that the people are going towards digital content, to what extent your digital content is going to match the industry experts requirement, whether it's matching with the logistics industry, matching with the e-commerce industry, looking for experts in certain element of culture change. All that should be part of your infographics. That is where you need to learn how to do a good resume. You can't learn resume by just copying. All right, there's no copycat. You got to design it in a intellectual manner. Okay, next. So these are some examples about how, but as you said, this is resumes of other people. You just cannot copy, but you got to see why they're doing it differently. Why? Because they want to stand out. Try to do a search engine. Does this resume stands out? So try to do an exercise on a search engine on resumes that has got certain keywords. Which resume stands out? So you got to look at from the point of view search engine, recruiters' terms or keywords that a recruiter will always be using when they're looking for somebody special, somebody that is looking for a certain element of lifestyles, right? Because right now people are just doing a lot of businesses related to lifestyle in terms of healthcare, lifestyle in towards dieting, lifestyle towards saving their families and friends. Those lifestyles are job opportunity. So if your resumes has got a link to a certain lifestyles, that is where you get your resumes shortlisted. Okay, next. Okay, these are some of the links to recommend, but I always would love to have more research being done in terms of how you see a recruiter perform in this. Try to talk to recruiters. Okay, get an exercise in terms of, because I'm one of the recruiter. If you ask me, how do I do my short listing? How do I bring myself faster to do my work? It's all using search engine. Okay, next. Okay, next. These are some of the links that you need. So in the think zone, in terms of what you want to do to make yourself win in the battle, is how do you make the technology works for you? All right, technology can bring up your profile faster than anyone else. All right, you even your referrals will not help you to stand out, even though you have a referrals, right? Because people don't search for the referrals. People search for your talent, search for keywords that is industry related. So if most of the CVs that I see or that I've been reviewing, a lot of time is very academic written. So it's academic written. How many recruiters are typing the words of academic? Very few. People are typing the words of industry. All right. So that's where your understanding about what does the industry wants is respect towards what is the industry focusing about. Yeah. What are the issues the industry focusing about? What are the things that have gone very, very important? For example, now we're going to green energy. We're going to recycle energy. We're going into hydrogen energy. Right? So does your resume has that? So these are the things which will help your resume to be picked by engineers, picked by what I call technical people, because they're looking for people who understood what are the issues addressed that are being addressed by the what I call by the local authority, by the government, and so on. All right. So if you're looking about buzzword like sustainable development goals, those are buzzword of SDGs that are very much people sort of. Look at some of the if you look at LinkedIn or you look at one of some of the other international professional profiles for resumes, look at what the top people are looking for. Right now, people are looking for sustainability managers. People are looking for sustainability executive. People are looking for people who understand about sustainable development goals. And there are 17 SDGs. So which SDG are you focusing about in your resume. So if your SDG is not related to your resume, that means you are not following the trend. So if your resume says, my resume is very much is matching with SDG number 1, number 2, number 7, number 8, it's very easy for anyone to look for that kind of resume with SDG related. Now, raise your hands here. How many of you have your resumes with the SDG being part of your strategy to align your academic knowledge with the SDG knowledge? How many of you here has that in your resume? So maybe organizer can look at the response. How many people say yes or they have your resume linked to SDGs? Maybe it's a short survey for people, right? Next. Next. Can you move the slide? Okay. Resume tips. All right. Next. Ten golden tips for you to make a good resume. I've given them most of it right here, so we can skip through fast, yeah? In terms of the first page, the second page. This one is all very mechanical, so I can give to you in a manner that you all can look through it, yeah? But when I talk about strategy, as you can see, my field is in strategic management. Strategy is about how you want to win over the heart of the recruiters, the heart of the employers. Is all respect towards how easily can they get to you. If it's going to be very tough for them to get to you, your resume will not be reaching to them. How easy can people get to you? It's not about who introduced you to who. That's the physical introduction. Normally, that's the fastest. Somebody recommends, right? And they bring the CV along. That's the fastest. But if we're talking about search engine, that's the other fastest way to shortlist, right? And normally, people don't want to waste time. When they know that the CV has got that, people will just bang on it. All right? So that's where you got to understand all the tips with respect to the content. All about content. Content writing, creative writing. It's not about your wordy languages. It's about your keywords. Next. You can go through fast in a faster manner, yeah? You just browse through and we go one by one. One by one, you just browse through, you just change the slides, and I will stop you once I see I want to say something. All right? Next. Okay, next. Next. These are all what I call structure, yeah? Structure. Whatever tips that is written here, if you want to cover all of it, it's going to be like a lengthy thesis. So don't look at everything aspect of it. But what are we saying is that at the end of the day, your resume stands out to be like an ebook. Okay? Now, how many of you has written your own ebook? Ebook is a trend. Have you written your resumes in the form of an ebook? No, nobody thought about it, right? But myself, as an ebook content writer, as an ebook, what I call library owner, I have many people's ebook in our library because we know it's a trend. It's much more easier for people to see pages of photos, pages of graphics, of knowledge and content. So sometimes it's much more interesting to see someone's profile through pages. You can have 2 or 3 pages about your work that you do, the culture that you work with, the community that you engage yourself with. So it gives people an overall understanding about you. Because right now, people have no time to do interview other than through Zoom. So if through Zoom, how can people discover you? So if somebody was to say, instead of looking at the resume, I may not even understood what you were trying to write in your resume. Why don't you just write your ebook and let people browse through the activities of your past evidence? For example, you have gone to an internship, and here are your work of activities in which it can be writing, it can be translating, it can be compiling, it can be packaging, it can be anything. Because pictures speaks 1,000 words. You can't write it down onto a resume and expecting everyone to look at every page or every line of your paragraph. It's very, very, people are not reading at the present moment. You know the behavior about people reading? You can look at the statistics. How many people read? People are just browsing through. They're just skipping. So if you are skipping, so you should then start to see if this budaya orang yang membaca sekarang amat limited, their budaya hanya through what they call through the digital way, which is through the phone. Yeah, people just open up and flip. Then you have to find a way. Maybe if I were to prepare an ebook about myself, people would then understand me better. Where are the areas of my interest? Where are my areas of my hobbies, of my spare time? And what are the things that I normally do on my part time? Don't be shy about telling about yourself, because that's you. It's not about exposing about anything else. Rather than talk about your behavior, your lifestyles, your interests, your focus. And that's not wrong, because you want people to hire you because of your activities. And you never know what people are looking for. All right? You never know. So not always about the academic excellence. It's also about the things that you do within your spare time, hobbies. Even a lot of people wants you to do and manage an event, manage a cultural show, manage an activity with the community, a CSR program, for example. So if you have that as part of your pictorial ways on how you look at event management, you look at the element of, embracing culture, believe me, people will know how to deal with you easily, because that's what people want. Make it more visual, as you say, more visual. Right, next. Okay, next. Now, one of the elements about certification is about skill. When you have a certificate, it's all about the element that you have got certain extra skill that other people have. In those days, when we were in the early days, we have the typing skill, we have the stenographic skill, we have computer skill. All that no longer being evaluated because it's already part of your skill. You don't need to have a certificate for that. Now, what is exactly the certificate that people are looking for right now? All right? It's not about your academic excellence, because that is just a knowledge that you acquire. Other skills are related to, let's say, health and safety. That's another element that people were always looking for, someone that has got that knowledge. Number 2, halal certification. Element of you having a knowledge of halal and becoming a halal executive is also a certification that can help you get into a job. Not just about your academic excellence. There are other industry certification that people will learn to hire you because of that certificate. All right. So don't look at just your academic excellence certification. Look at other industry certification that can easily make you become outstanding. Yeah, even though you are just probably new in the market. So when they're talking about Malaysia being wanted to be the halal hub, it's not just about the companies. It's also about their people, the employees. All right. So this is where I mentioned to you, stands out yourself, find yourself into that roadmap. When talking about halal certification, it's not about local. It's not about just. How many people ask me, Dr. Noor, do you know how to apply for halal certification? All right. So when we talk about being halal certified, they need the executive. All the international people need the executive. So to make people be trained to become an executive takes time. So if they want, the fastest way is to get a halal executive people. Now, if you are part of the halal executive community, it's easier for you to get a job because you have it. You have that certification. So think about certification in a manner which is the industry is demanding, where the government is really focusing on the policy of halal. So that's where you got yourself shortlisted faster. The same thing with sustainability, green element, okay? Green project management, that kind of stuff. Next. You can browse through, yeah, faster. You can browse faster, yeah. Boleh gerak kan? Yeah. Because it's not moving, yeah, on my side. Can you change the slides and browse through the slides?
Doktor, kita dah ada dekat common mistake.
Because on my phone is not moving, so I'm not sure where we are right now, yeah? Where are we now? Which thing?
Common mistake in resume writing.
Okay. All right. So I want to go to the other page, yeah? I'm not sure. Okay, common CV mistakes according to employers, yeah. Okay, this is very much about detection of your error, right? So a lot of employers, these are part and parcel about, when they couldn't find you, and that's why they would say, this is the mistake, all right? So never give an error to them. Okay, for example, birth date shouldn't have an error. A lot of people never update their CVs. All right, updating is one of the most frequent mistakes that people do. After 2 years, they didn't update. After 3 years, they didn't update. After 5 years, they didn't update. Even the photos, they didn't update. So a lot of people stay with that photos for almost like 10 years, 15 years. It is a common mistake. And I always say, why didn't you change your photo? Oh, tak ada masa. Look, you want to get a job, you got to find the time. Alright? So you cannot give the excuses, oh saya terlupa. Saya terlupa nak update saya punya CV. Kalau you terlupa nak update, then the attitude will appear in front of the employers. That means you tak kisah. So kalau you tak kisah, bagaimana you nak jaga harta saya, harta syarikat, harta semua company yang inginkan employee yang ada attitude, ya? Yeah? So if they look at your profile, kalau you sendiri tak tukar, so dia akan kata macam mana saya nak bagi you tanggungjawab yang lebih berat. Kalau tanggungjawab yang sedikit pun tak ambil kisah, macam mana you nak ambil tanggungjawab yang lebih berat? This has always been during our interviewer sessions when we interview employees. We always look for a view that attitude is what makes the person outstanding. Attitude. Alright, so mistakes dalam CV tu indicate the attitude. Now, people don't want to pick a mistake. Ni bukan nak cari markah dalam CV untuk make sure that you got score in your CV. It's not that kind of mistake that people are detecting. Mistake here is in fact that they know that you did not give enough attention or respect to your CV. And that is an identifying your attitude. You let yourself be discovered for your mistake. And that is the wrong element lah. Kenapa you make yourself outstanding in terms of mistake? Bukan outstanding in terms of other things. Outstanding in terms of mistake. Therefore, employer will delete your CV because dia tak nak. Now, I have many times interviewed for foreign companies, international companies. And of course, my industry at that time was oil and gas. Now, all the operators, supervisors, process engineers, process trainers, and all the technical people, you know what is the biggest mistake? Copycat CV. Oh, you operator, saya pun operator. Sama je kita. So, apa yang you tulis tu sama lah apa yang I tulis. What do you think someone who is going to look at your CV and look at the next person is coming with the same CV and the next person is coming with the same CV doing interview? Tiga-tiga dia takkan jumpa. Why? Because they kata, I don't know which one is correct, which one is having the original CV, right? So you have deleted the opportunity of being interviewed. All right. So all these highlights about what is happening in your CV is to indicate attitude. All right. It's not about purposely. It's trying to find a mistake. Dia akan any interviewer will always want to find fault as a reason to not to hire. Reason not to hire is when they find fault in the CVs. So if you did not do any checking on your, for example, on your spelling, satu, on your photos, dua, and many other elements of mistakes, then it reflects the person's profile because of the mistake. So whatever that they found is just to find a reason after they have shortlisted you. Rugi lah. Lepas dah shortlisted, they start to delete you because of they found all the errors. Rugi. Alright? So never do things that you think people will not find out. Ini yang selalunya merugikan. Kerana selalu ingat, takkan dia find out. Remember, the digital world is very powerful. The digital world. Sebab kita ada what we call plagiarism. Right? Now, recruiters, they also know where to find tools of plagiarism. So kalau dia type certain paragraph and they find that there were 10 people of the same paragraph, dia akan kata ini semua plagiarism. Alright? So that's why resumes outstand because it does not get detected dalam plagiarism. Kalau it get detected dalam plagiarism, dia akan reflect you punya attitude again. Remember, we hire for attitude. We don't hire because of your smartness. We hire because of your attitude. So this is where never get your resume inside plagiarism punya detection. Alright? Now, many people, for example, they have a lot of research papers that they send to me for what I call to be put inside the journals and so on. All right, and we have seen many of those articles be rejected by the journal because they have plagiarism tools to detect. All right, for paragraphs, for items that they said memang terlalu banyak copycat dia. So even for articles, even for resumes, it's easily be detected. So do not think that the digital world are lack of tools to detect your error. So this is what I meant to say. Please make it original, not make it as copycat and paste and having a standard resumes all over the place. Okay, next. Okay, you can move on. Yeah. I don't want to go item by item on this because this is, as you say, making other people finding all the faults about you. Okay? Next. Okay. Video resumes. So video resumes is getting popular. Do you know there's an AI, what I call an AI technology that can make your resume become what I call a video resume. Now in Kuwaiti, in Saudi, in many other countries, they make you talk to a robot. This robot will give you a lot of questions, and these questions comes through a series of what I call selected questions coming out from a system or from an engine, and they will detect whether you are lying or not. A lie detector is there. So these video resumes are getting very popular because on a face-to-face resume interview, sometimes people can lie, and you cannot detect whether the person is lying. Now, a video resumes are very powerful, especially in certain jobs right now. They want to detect whether the person is honest or not. Okay, the person is honest or not. So they use a lot of AI. Macam AI in the healthcare sector is very, very, very high usage because they want to detect to the nearest, the data used to detect to the nearest symptom of a disease. That's why they use AI. The same thing for a lot of people right now because they have found a lot of flaws in the resumes. They found a lot of CVs that are, they are faking. So how do you want to detect? You want to hire people with the true value. So they will ask you for a video resume. And then they will do what they call a lie detector, whether the body languages detect the person is lying or not. So these are the certain things which is going on trends, especially for high-end positions. So that doesn't mean that in your future you will not go through this. All right? You will probably be asked to do a video resume. So always think about why are they asking for a video resume. They're looking for the body language. They're looking to detect what could be your wrong information. Wrong answer lying. Wrong answer means you probably give the right answer, but it doesn't match with their answers. There's just a wrong answer to them. But when talking about something being detected because you have done something wrong, which is lying, that is a total no-no for you. Okay? Now, this is why we're talking about why now people are doing into video resume because they want to have a lot of data to read your behavior. So this resumes by video is a behavior way to detect. Behavior way to detect about the profile of the person. So be very careful. Understand that people are trying to shortlist people through technology. Okay, so a lot of resumes are now using technology. Next. You can browse through it. You can go through fast. Slides to start moving. How many minutes more left for me? Ya. Ada berapa minit lagi?
Untuk sesi pertama, sampai sini. Tapi ada berapa soalan yang nak diajukan kepada doktor?
Boleh?
Okay. So, saya akan baca beberapa soalan. Okay. So, nowadays, orang lebih suka hire orang untuk buat resume kita sendiri. Jadi, apa pandangan doktor tentang benda tu?
Orang lain yang buatkan resume?
Ya, betul.
Okay. No, it is definitely a no-no. Alright? Tapi kalau somebody interview you and write the resume, it's okay. In other words, they interview you, they profile you, and then they write for you because you're probably not so good in writing, right? Because they want to make you outstand in terms of it. Always hire the consultant or the people yang nak buatkan resume you, yang mana dia faham tentang the digital SEO. Kalau orang tu bukan orang digital, so dia akan tulis karangan contoh dalam keadaan mungkin kalau you letak resume you cantik pun ataupun dia siap dengan keadaan format yang tinggi, tapi dari segi search engine tak ada makna. Alright? So, that person must be a digital expert kalau dia nak tulis resume you. Okay? So, make sure that person interview you dalam keadaan dia faham keywords yang dia nak letak untuk you sebab itu akan optimizekan search engine. Okay, tak ada salah. Hanya you must strategize why you using that person. not because to prepare a resume. Alright? Yeah. Next question.
Okey, untuk soalan yang seterusnya, daripada saudara Amni Harid, dia tanya, kalau seseorang tu tidak mempunyai experience dalam pekerjaan sebelumnya, kebarangkalian untuk resume dia terima semakin tinggi atau sebaliknya?
I think I have answered. You must put your resume in the search engine optimization. It's kalau you punya keywords tak ada, your keywords experience tak ada dalam resume, macam mana orang nak detect? Even orang yang ada experience pun, keyword tu tak ada dalam search engine optimization recruiter, macam mana orang nak detect? Kalau orang tu tak ada experience tapi keywords dia ada, siapa yang akan menjelma? CV mana yang akan menjelma? Orang yang ada experience ke tak ada experience? Kan? It is not about the experience, it's about the keywords, alright? Because recruiter akan guna engine. AI, orang-orang yang akan guna AI, dia akan guna engine, digital way. Because there are thousands of resumes out there. How to shortlist? It is not about who has got experience or no experience. It's whose resume has got the right keywords yang mereka akan pilih sebagai dia orang punya search engine.
Baik,
Okay?
jelas Doktor.
Alright, next.
Okay, so
Yep.
seterusnya, soalan dari Saudari Izzah. How can we know if my resume or CV is already perfect? Is there any website that can help to recheck our resume?
How to make it perfect is that when you put resume and all in all the portal, in all the job seeker portal or whatever, and when you do the search, your CV doesn't appear. So it's not perfect yet. Right? You test your resumes. Does it appear when a search is being used? Right? So, in other words, you can do your self-test about your resume, and there's no such thing as perfect resume. It's all about strategy. How do you use resume to be picked faster by a recruiter? And what type of recruitment that are on demand right now? So if you're putting a resume that is not on demand, you will not be picked. All right? It's not about your academic excellence. It's about what are the trends that people are looking for, the right type of jobs that are abundance. It is not about your specialty. If you are looking for someone to pick your specialty, then the search engine will not pick you up because people are looking for the masses. The job market is looking for people who can easily be found. It's not something yang very unique, yang susah nak cari. They will not do that for under recruitment. That is under headhunter. Under headhunter, they look for special. And headhunter only go for certain high-end position. They takkan search for low-end position as a headhunter. So kalau you are in the general, in the general market, we call. So the strategy is to use search engine techniques, automation, and put it in all your job seeker portal and see how fast your resume pops up by using the search engine of the latest trend. Look at the latest trend of all the search portal. Apa yang dia orang cari? Alright, then make sure your resume ada elemen-elemen tu. Because you're all generalists, I call it. All of you are not specialists. Kalau generalist, you can do any job. That's why a lot of people say, I can do any job, Dr. No, hire lah I. I boleh buat A, I boleh buat B. Yes, because you are generalist. But if as a generalist, you just want to make yourself very specialized, then that's where you not got picked up. So your resume got to have the generalist approach where pick up. Because you are in a mass market. You understand what's mass market? Maksudnya ramai orang nak hire dalam bentuk mass. Contoh, macam saya sekarang ada 25 position dekat Port Kelang, 4 position of women operators, gaji 2,500. Alright? 2,500, which is to me is quite high for a woman operator. Alright? It's not hiring very talented people. Dia boleh membaca, mengira dan menulis. Tapi gaji 2,500. But if you are looking for, if you want to put yourself into that kind of position, you don't need to go into the what I call resume, especially in terms of how you want to portray yourself. You got to find another version where your resume become very easily handled by people who are looking for a generalist, not specialist. So if you are putting your resume as a specialist, that's for a different purpose. If you're looking your resume as a generalist, that's for a different purpose because you're just looking for a job. You're not just looking for someone to hire for your specialty. Got to understand that. What's mass market? Right? Mass market, orang akan hire 50, 60, 70. That's mass market. If you just want to be outstanding, that's specialist market. And how many people will search for specialist market? Right now, recruiters are searching for mass market. They want to hire by the abundance. Yep. You look at Grab, look at Lazada. You think they hire by specialists or they hire by abundance? They hire by abundance. Right? So you have to understand where's the trend.
Okay, so ini soalan 2 yang terakhir akan saya ajukan kepada doktor, di mana soalan daripada Saudari Nazmi. Assalamualaikum doktor. How to know the recruiter find the keyword on our resume? What the strategy to use the keyword in information management field and how to relate with SGD? Okay, that is a specialist area, right, where you must know what type. There are certain recruiters that look for certain talent. Yeah, so this is where you should see that if you want to be in that recruiter book, all right, go to the recruiter. You go to LinkedIn, go to all the recruiters. What I call job search, the recruiter punya job search, and then from there you see what are the keywords that the recruiter looking for, and then you type their keywords into your resume. Okay, so that when the recruiter is using their search engine, your CV will stand out. So you got to match with the recruiter's keywords. So in LinkedIn, there are so many recruiters out there. Not necessarily get friendly with the recruiters. There's no point getting friendly with the recruiters because there's so many people that they're searching for. They will always use a search engine. All right. So, but look at the jobs that they are looking for. Is it in the oil and gas? Is it in the green energy? Is it in the what I call waste management? Depend. If you are going into component of engineering, maybe in power, in terms of whatever, then you look at a recruiter that is searching for power. But if you're a recruiter that is looking for example, tourism, hospitality, F&B, halal, then you know that it's very matching to your CV because you are in the F&B area or in the hospitality area. Then you look at the recruiter's search engine. Apa yang they search dalam? Is it halal? Then from there you should have your resume with that halal, so that you know the resumes will match with the search engine. Okay, and then only when you get yourself friendly with the recruiter, because the recruiter will always use the search profile. Okay, that's how you get friendly recruiters and matching your CVs with recruiters, because that is how we as recruiter behave, because we are always running short of time to search for the best CVs. It's always overnight. Oh, Dr. No, we want to search. Do you have these CVs for search for people in this field, in this field, in Swiss? Semua nak urgent. Who do you think recruiter will search?
Recruiter will just search from their network and with the keywords. They do not want to waste time to look at all the CVs in the database and start to. It's always search engine. Okay? So get your best words of keywords in your resume. Okay, any other questions?
Okey, jadi ini soalan terakhir yang saya akan tujukan untuk doktor, di mana saya dapat rumuskan kebanyakan mahasiswa begitu risau sebab kami akan merupakan fresh graduate, di mana kami akan bersaing dengan orang-orang yang lebih pengalaman. Jadi yang macam doktor tekankan untuk fokus kepada keyword kan. Jadi
terputus. What was the soalan? No, Alia?
saya
What was the soalan? The last one?
maafkan saya. Okay, macam saya kata, fresh graduate akan bersaing dengan orang yang lebih pengalaman. Dan di mana kalau kita cari pekerjaan, contoh di LinkedIn ke apa-apa, diorang akan selitkan kriteria di mana diorang perlukan orang yang lebih pengalaman seperti lebih daripada 3 tahun, 2 tahun. Jadi macam mana dengan fresh graduate?
Okay. Now, people will always love to hire fresh graduates. It's not because they are cheaper. Not necessarily they are cheaper. Fresh graduate not necessarily is cheap. Yeah? Fresh graduate is respect towards, they want to train you early. You know, I always hire fresh graduates because I can let them understand certain training, which if you hire senior people, the senior people are having a set mind and they don't want to learn because they always think about, they want to do something of their own, right? So a junior or a fresh graduate, they are fresh because they don't know anything, a lot of things in the industry. So that's why people hire fresh graduates, right? So this is the strategy. When you want to get yourself hired, don't talk about what is the competition with the experienced people. There's no competition. The competition is when the fresh graduates start to demand. All right, the demand is when you start to ask for certain things which is only meant for senior people. That is where you got yourself, being sidelined lah, because you are expecting to be like the senior. But if you are talking about why people hire fresh graduate, it's easy for them to give you something new, which in the market, which they know the senior people don't have, and you got the ability to learn something new. So always portray the new things that you want to learn something new, which normally recruiters would like to give to you as a fresh graduate, because you have the what they call the readiness, and because you will not be disturbed by all your past experience. Normally senior people, they tend to be a bit slow to learn something new. Fresh graduates has the ability to learn something new very, very fast. So there is an advantage of hiring fresh graduates. Okay?
Baik. Terima kasih doktor. Okey, baiklah. Terima kasih doktor atas penjelasan dan juga menjawab persoalan-persoalan kita pada sesi pertama. Baiklah, kita akan rehat untuk beberapa minit sebelum beralih dan berganjak ke sesi kedua.
Okay. Biar saya semayang sekejap dulu ya.
Boleh.
Saya. Alright. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Boleh Doktor terangkan serba sedikit tentang cracking interview?
Cracking interview. Okay. Wait. Let's see whether. Alright. Now, dalam interview session, bila kita first thing is always come with the natural formula that you come in to do a conversation, to share, right? Because a lot of people think that an interview function too is, of course, to element in terms of how to read your behavior, right? So if one of the most important behavior people read is your friendliness, friendliness in terms of, are you ready to get a job, or are you just looking for ways to find fault? A lot of sometimes interviewers, they purposely do a lot of mistakes to see the reaction of the interviewee, all right, the people who's coming for the interviews, because we are all human. There's no perfect situation, but normally fresh graduates yang looking at reality, they think that the world is perfect out there, that everything should be rosy, everybody should be, in the context of everything is nice and, and beautiful. It's not, all right? It's natural. So there will always be a flaw, there will always be imperfection, there's always a reason for mistakes to happen, and never find faults. So if you want to be a positive thinker, you have to really understand that, come what may, whatever the situation is, you just be positive. So, if you are a positive person, you get to be hired faster as someone who's negative, because the interviewer will always read a negative person very fast. All right, very fast you can read a negative person. So if you portray a negative attitude, a negative behavior, from the first impression, they will know that this one is a no-no. So the next question is just to confirm the no-no. All right, so that's why the starting of the conversation is always to make a lot of things become positive. All right, now let's say for example, you come into an interview room where there's a lot of things which probably doesn't give you the image that you want. All right, but you have to think positive, and you have to say, I feel good about this place because it gives you the energy of what is a working career all about. So people got to see your positive attitude. People, they know the place is not perfect, but you bring in a positive energy, and people will like you immediately. All right. So just like in any Facebook, in any what they call social media, you like because that gives you a lot of a good branding about yourself. The same thing in an interviewer and the interviewee is about the like. Does the interviewer is going to like you? All right. It's not about just about your behavior, the results of your interviewers and so on. It's all about your comfort zone in working in an environment which is probably is a natural environment of what you could do. All right, let's say your job is going to be at a construction site, and it's going to be dirty and dusty and probably in the hot sun, but you come with the element of the person's ready, boots and so on. People start to say, hey, this is for site construction work. Let's say you come in with that image that I'm ready to work at site right now. People will say, are you ready to work? Yes. That's why I come with the khaki uniform with the readiness to work. So give yourself the right image. What type of job you're looking for, and whether your outfit to come for interview is meeting the right kind of job. Okay, if a lot of people wants to get into the indoor job. An indoor job, of course, you can wear hot suit with whatever. But they know if they're going to give you a job for example, as let's say a site engineer, yeah, they know you're not doing it to wear your suit because it doesn't make sense for you to wear. So an office attire with a simple cotton clothes, which is good enough so that people will read you that you have the good attire. Okay. I prefer the question and answer session because it gives a little bit of more information regarding what, right. A lot of time people now is going to go through the Zoom interview. All right. Now, Zoom interview is always trend right now because people want short, keep the time of traveling, or the zone when, let's say, your interview is going to be overseas and you are in Malaysia, and most of the time zone is between 6 hours or 7 hours, 8 hours, and it's going to hit your night time. All right. Now, if you are saying that nighttime is not suitable, then you took time to set that. If you want it only during the daytime, it's going to hit their morning time, all right, or their early time, which is not going to be appropriate. So please look at from the point of view that the time zone is always important for you to detect where is the interviewer interview you, and why are they preferring a nighttime and not a daytime? So that you got to really, really understand. And that's where your friendliness in terms of adapting towards the time is very important, okay? Because Zoom tend to be a little bit more friendly with people who have got different time zone, okay? Now, in terms of your profile in the interviewers, always look at yourself as you are also going to be found in the internet very easily, because people can do a search engine on you, right? So if you knows that you are being a community person, you have been helping a lot of people, all right? Or you have been involved in some social event, or participating in some other exhibition or whatsoever, yeah? It's okay. Put yourself into the YouTube, put yourself into the program you're in, because you make yourself outstanding, all right? You make yourself outstanding, you make yourself also be known what you're doing, and that helps also during the interview, okay? But if you use to negative words in a social media, about this, you complain about, so be very careful. That's why when you are you're looking for a job, and people if you are found to be a person who's negative, will start to search for you. Where is your social media that you tend to negative about, right? So nowadays, a lot of the interviewers will ask, what is your Facebook account? What is your account? What is your Instagram account? Why do they ask for all this? Because they want to see your behavior, right? Not they have time to look at, they wait for the interview session. Sometimes they do rush on you immediately. So again, interview sessions is only formal when they want to already look at you in the final round. In the beginning round, it's always about they will find a lot of other facts through the many other means, yeah, to find about you, if they feel that you want to you fit into a certain position. But if you are generalist, can come in handy anytime, that will be much more easier for them, because you are not choosy. Someone who's choosy tend to be a bit picky, all right? Because they are very selective in terms of whatever the position. You can get into those positions after you join in. But if you want to be in the real world out there, start where you like. It doesn't mean that you are in the wrong path, all right? Anywhere you start is in the right path, okay? It's just that you do not know your journey. And a lot of people trying to set their own journey. That's where you get to wait, and you got to get frustrated because you think you want to set your own journey. The right path is when you set your mind correct. When you know you want to get into a job, and any job that comes with me, you just take it. Then you know someone has already charted the path for you. Only that you know that the world works in a different manner aspect your mindset. Yeah, that's why in the industry world, they always look at fresh graduates being so new, so fresh, doesn't understand what's going out there. But if you are adapting to the industrial world very quickly, that's where you got to be more acceptable by the industrial people. Okay? Do you have any questions come from the floor?
Okey doktor. Dalam interview kita sendiri yang tahu bahawa personality tu adalah salah satu orang kata pandangan daripada interviewer. So apa pandangan doktor tentang personality tersebut? Adakah dia diwajibkan ataupun tidak?
Of course, personality talks a lot about the person's lifestyle. Okay. Now, if you come with a very, with the approach of very healthy, that is a very good style. All right. In other words, you keeping yourself fit, you keeping yourself at low budget, you know how to do pension that is better than cure, all these things. So at the end of the day, it's your cost, right? If employer somebody wants to have someone have liabilities, right? Minimal liability. In with the image that you are sick. The employer will start to say, oh, ini cost ni cost tinggi ni akan ambil MC selalu, dia akan ambil, dia akan cuti selalu. People, you see this liability to the company. So when talking about personality, it is not about personality of your lavishness. No. It's personality about your readiness. One, to reduce wastage. Two, to be ready to work at anywhere that they send you. Be it night, siang, malam, places. That's why talking about personality. It's not about your personality of, let's say you are that you want to be here, there, everywhere, and all that. All right, that's your personal personality. But you're talking about work personality. We're talking about work personality. So work personality means you are ready to be in anywhere that the person will wants to give you the job. Kalau dia kata, can you do digital media? Oh yeah, I can. Can you do communication skill with the media? Oh yeah, you take it positively. If you say, I'm not sure, 100% already answer for yourself to be deducted from the points that they're looking for. All right. So never give a negative expression. All right. Always give a positive expression because you want a job. But if you don't want a job and you are very picky, of course, you can show your anger face or you can show your dissatisfaction face. But it reflects the non-readiness to work in whatever attitude that you have. Right. Now, I once remember my first time when I do my interview, my purpose was to ensure that the person who interviewed me read me correctly. Because the message is that I'm going to work with a person and understand what type of person I am, right? Because it's going to be a chemistry. All right. The chemistry is respect towards, are we going to work as a team? So what is the chemistry that you want to portray? That regardless of where my position is, I am always your subordinate. All right. That means the boss is always right. The boss is always right. Regardless of how smart you are, the boss is always right. Because that is a mindset that you need to have. Regardless whether you have been more than the boss. Right? But the boss is always right. Because you are a subordinate. So you are learning or you are still experiencing something which the boss has experienced more. All right? So never underestimate the supervisor. Probably in your eyes are probably not good. It's not about what you think. It's about the person's role to train you. It's the person's role to guide you, to mentor you. But if your mindset is just to estimate about your boss, what is he or she lacking about, that's where your attitude becomes wrong. Okay? So that's why in terms of personality, they will read you as wrong, not because you are reading them wrong. Okay?
Okay,
Do you have any other questions?
Ni ada soalan daripada viewers kita, daripada Saudari Nur Safia Irina. Soalan dia, what are some common mistakes done by fresh graduate at interviews?
Okay. The first common mistake I always find that the fresh grads will always get their opinion from their peers first. Dia akan tanya kawan, I nak dapat kerja ni, what do you think? Kawan si tak payahlah kerja tu. Already, dia punya mind jatuh. Because he or she is trying to get the buy-in from the peers. And so bila dia dah ada set mind dengan daripada kawan-kawan dia, tak payahlah, dia tu teruk, dia tu kerja kat situ susah. So, you are already removing a lot of your positive element nak kerja tu tadi dikaburi oleh your peers. Your peers probably not looking for a job. You are. Your peers have not worked in that company. You are. All right? So, always from the point of view, if you're looking for a feedback or whatever, you are always trying to make yourself prepare in advance instead of you yourself ready to work. Now, a person is positive, come what may, I will face it and I want to learn something new dalam keadaan it is originally learning itu. You know, in all resumes, in every resume that I met, that I've read through, I'm looking for a challenging environment. I'm looking where I can learn more. Selalu ayat-ayat tu keluar. But that ayat doesn't give them the real understanding. What are you looking for? It's your readiness. But if you are not ready, that means you are not having the right mindset to work in a challenging environment. You don't know what is a challenging environment. You can never predict a challenging environment unless you go through it. So if you are saying, I'm looking for a challenging environment, how are you going to look for a challenging environment? Is your friends going to tell you where is the challenging environment? So when you put in your resume, I'm looking for something that can give me, a very, how to call it, experience yang vast in the industry, but that actually you do not know. You are looking. You only can get through that experience when you have a positive mindset. Now, any interviewer knows there is no perfect environment. But if you are ready to work in any environment, you become perfect. If you are ready to work in any environment, you make yourself perfect. But if you're looking for a perfect environment for you to fit yourself, actually, you are already a misfit because there's no such thing as perfect environment. It's your readiness to work in any environment. All right? Now, if the boss says right now, in let's say going to be in a big factory where there's a lot of logistics issues, where you got to work on your working shoes, you got to probably be fitter than what you are right now. So you make yourself fit. All right? You're not saying, so what do I get? Do I get an equipment? Do I get a tools? You start demanding. So when you start demanding, that's where your attitude become wrong because there's no way an employer is going to prepare you for everything. You got to prepare yourself for whatever the challenges that they face. That's why they're looking for you because they have a challenging environment for you to participate in that challenging environment. Are you ready to come into the challenging environment? That's why you see in oil and gas, in the offshore, I want to go into offshore. Why are you going to want to go offshore? I want to go into challenging environment. Look, any environment is a challenging environment. There's no such thing as only offshore or only oil and gas is challenging environment. The risk is very high in an oil and gas environment. That's why they're looking for competencies. But any environment is a challenging environment. It's a matter of how you fit yourself in your mindset. Okay? Even if you work at home, it's a challenging environment. Even though you're working from home, it is a challenging environment. All right? So do not think that if you work from home, it's not challenging. I just want to correct you. It is also a challenging environment. Okay? Any other questions?
So, ni daripada Saudara Hazim Farhan. As you all know that Nowadays, kebanyakan perkara kita buat dalam online. So what do we need to prepare if we are in online interview? Is it has the same steps just like the physical styles interview session?
Okay, in any online interviews, they will always do a recording. So when they do a recording means this person is probably not going to be the final decision maker. All right, it's a process only. So they will do the interview in a manner to record you, and then probably they will review it with few other people whom they believe will be the decision maker. So in other words, be prepared in a manner that this is not going to be the person who's going to make the decision. The person who's going to make the decision can be other people who are much more higher in authority in deciding. So what exactly they're looking for in the interview too is to look back at the job description. What exactly they're looking for. If they say they're asking for a competency, let's say they want to hire fresh graduate with experience in bakery, for example. I'm just giving an example. So, and they want to know, when talking about bakery, they want to know what type of baking are you doing, right? They were looking for someone who has done for cakes or cookies or pizza, whatsoever. So the question asked can be very, very simple, but yet related towards your skill. All right. So depending on what exactly the interviewers is looking for, is always to find the evidence that whatever you say in the resume is matching with your profile. Okay. So if they say you mentioned about skill in, let's say, health and safety. So they will ask, where is it in the health and safety that you have looked for, and what are the elements of health and safety that you have encountered for, right? So all these things becomes evidence about how you tell your story, all right? So the best way about how you want to reflect your experience is to tell a story. Now, example, let's say somebody says, what is your experience in handling crisis, example, okay? And you know there's many version of crisis. What kind of crisis does you think they are asking for? But you know the job that you're asking is about, for example, frontliner crisis, yeah? People who handle crowd management. And they ask you a question about have you able to manage a crisis? So reflect back all the experience that you have, regardless whether it's a working experience or personal experience or group experience, family experience, and mention about a story. Yes, I have encountered an incident where I was facing this in my family trip, in my personal encounter. Tell a story. When you tell a story, it's easy for you to communicate. Now, fresh graduates does not want to tell what I call a situation because they believe that they're not good in telling their communication skill. Telling a story will help you improve communication skill. All right. So be it dalam bahasa Malaysia, be it in English, will help you to tell the incident better about a crisis, contoh. So these are things. So if someone wants to say, what are the bad experiences have you encountered in your life? It's about something that you have happened to you before, because they want to see you in your emotion aspect. Emotional experience is what they're looking for. So if you have you understood, the question is, what have the bad experience that you have entered for? So, for example, you have faced death, contoh. That's a bad experience. Example, you have faced an accident before. That's a bad experience. Example, you have, a bad mark on your body because someone hit you or something like that, or you have experienced a snatched teeth. Tell the bad experience naturally. So, and how you handle your emotions. All right, the emotions part, and how fast you encounter the emotion. Because at the end of the day, the real life out there is about your psychological, emotional experience, right? A lot of people will ask behavior question because they want to see your psychological impact. To what extent you're able to handle crisis, emotions, behavior, and your element of controlling your temper. Are you able to Are you a patient person, or are you what I call a rowdy person that can really, burst yourself out? That's what they're looking for. Okay? So, regardless of what your reaction, be natural. Because humans are natural. But you become to pretend, people can know you are pretending. So, do not pretend, because pretending is also a behavior that people can read that you are pretending. Okay? That's why all these elements about video interviews is about to answer questions with respect to its behavior, your attitude, your body language, your communication skills, and all elements. That's why they will do a Zoom interview. And it's one of the best choice because it cut costs, it reduces time, and many people can review about the candidate in another time. So not necessarily at that particular time because people are so busy, right? Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, Doctor. So this is the last question from Nurul Shazwani. As you all know, that there has two types of person, which is introvert and extrovert. So, Doctor, do you have some tips for an introvert person to answer an interview session?
No, this is always my favorite question. My favorite personality calculation. Now, there's nothing wrong to be introvert, and there's nothing wrong to be extrovert. We are born with that character. An extrovert may have very good values because they are very, very risk averse. They are very protective. All right. And they are very careful. That's an introvert. An extrovert, they are risk takers. All right. Risk takers, they tend to make mistakes faster because they take risks, but they also tend to lead because they are drivers. All right. So introverts, they tend to read data. They tend to look at they tend to look at what I call evidence to prove certain things. So there is no right or wrong character about position, because at the end of the day, when you work with someone, let's say an introvert with an introvert works with another introvert, all right, it becomes also a positive introvert. But an introvert works with an extrovert, it becomes an extrovert. So someone who works with someone who's active, the person will become active. Okay? So your character will change with different types of profile. Now, I just want to ask, how many of you knows how to read whether you are an introvert or extrovert? You do not know, right? I will give you certain tips by looking at your birth date. Everybody's have got a born number, a born date, all right? Whether you're born on the 2nd of January or you're born on the 30th of March or whatever, it doesn't matter. But when you look at your birth date and your birth year, you will know how to calculate the introvert or the extrovert behavior of yourself. But like I said, that calculation is a mathematical calculation. It does not mean that you are a bad person or a good person. It's your character number. But character number will change when you work with someone else. Okay? Let's say you have 2 or 3 person working in a team. Now, 2 or 3 person working in a team, everybody is having their own number or behavior number. So when they combine, the combination of their number will reflect a different behavior. Okay, let's say, Ivan, if I were to calculate your number, let's say, and as an example, that you are a born number 4. Born number you 4. Whereas my born number is 1. Okay. Now, as a character, a 1 tend to be a risk taker, tend to lead, tend to be very, what I call, tend to drive, and drive means they take a lot of initiative to move things around, to make change. All right, that's why I call driver. Yeah. So, but a person who's a number 4, like Awan, you tend to be more detailed person. A detailed person tend to be looking at data, they look at research, they tend to be more what I call risk averse. They read, they do a lot of things to confess about the data's results and so on. So if I were to work with Iwan, a 1 plus 4 becomes 5. All right. So now when we work as a team, our character becomes 5. No longer 1, no longer 4. So it bursts another behavior, which is a 5. Let's say now we work with Hazim. Hazim has a character 2, which is a communication number, which is 2. 2 10 words communication. So a 5 plus a 2 becomes 7. So let's say myself and Iwan and Hazim, we work together as a team. The front number, we call that, brings our character together, will be 7. It's no longer 1, it's no longer 4, it's no longer 2, it's 7. So what is a character 7? Character 7, by description, is networking. So we will tend to be more friendly with people when we are having a combination of a teamwork of 3. Now you understand. As extrovert, you got nothing to worry about. An introvert has got nothing to worry about. You got to know that your number will change when you work with people. And whether that number that you work with is having a character number of a different version, you just have to perform according to that version. So if you're going to change from number 2 to number 5, or number 2 to number 7, or number 2 to number 9, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is natural, because that number will bring out the character of your behavior when you work with people. As compared to when you work alone, your character number will portray by yourself, because that is your self number. Okay? I hope I explained to you. So do not worry about you being extrovert or introvert. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's about combination. It's about the chemistry. Do you know how to handle different characters? Because your combination number will change. So it's human behavior again that will transform the people. It's how you combine and work as a team. All right. It's not about, oh, I'm not a team player. I'm not a team leader. I'm never an outspoken person. But remember, when you're going to work in an organization, there are various type of behavior that you're going to work with. So your character number will definitely change. So if you have been a shy person all this while, that you always look at yourself as a shy person, and then suddenly you see someone else that was never a shy person become excellent in their behavior, why do you think they excel? It's because their number change with the behavior of the people around them, around the environment. But if you're able to understand this, then you will know how to play yourself well, because different people will bring you out differently. All right? So you have to be open. Certain people, you may be a planner. With certain people, you may be a networker. With certain people, you may be a wisdom person. With certain people, you may be a communication person. It differs. So be natural on the way you behave with people, because all combination has got its own values. Have I answered that one correctly?
Yes, Doctor.
Whatever the
Thank you,
person is
Doctor.
asking.
All right. So here has another one question from Nur Fatinatira, which is, Assalamualaikum Doktor. Soalan saya, adakah wajar kita menanyakan sebab kepada interview jikalau kita tidak dipilih dalam permohonan tersebut?
Okay, you want to know why you're not being selected?
Yes.
Interview, prior to the interview. Prior to the interview, if they have been what I call for interview, and they have indicated that any what you call unsuccessful candidate will be informed to say, why am I not being selected? But if during the call for interview, they said, we're doing an interview, will you be ready to attend? Will you be available to attend? So they're not going to, they didn't say anything about why you're not, why you're not being selected or so on. Didn't say that you'll be informed if you're not being selected. Then, in other words, they are looking for anyone who's ready to work. So if you are not being selected, it is not because they couldn't select you whatsoever. It because their quota maybe have finished. All right. In other words, they're probably hiring for 10 people and there were about 50 people asking for it. And the rest they just couldn't were not able to hire. So they have no reason to answer you because their quota has finished. Okay. But normally, if the interviewer is very responsive to say, we are looking for a position of this nature and we like to interview you, all the people that will ask for this job. And if you have applied, we welcome you for your application, and all unsuccessful candidates will be informed. So in other words, if they have informed you, then you know that you are unsuccessful. But if they have not informed you, it is allowed for you to ask why you are not being selected. Maybe they have not done any shortlisting yet. Yeah, maybe a lot of the candidates that they have interviewed may not of the right criteria yet. Right? So you can ask for the request for answers. Okay?
Alright, thank you, Doktor. So, itu serba sedikit tentang tracking interviews yang telah disampaikan oleh Dr. Nur Saidatul Akmal Mazilain. So, dengan soalan terakhir tersebut, maka berakhirlah program kita pada hari ini. Terima kasih kepada Dr. Nur Saidatul Akmal atas serba sedikit dapat meluangkan masa bersama-sama untuk program ini. Seterusnya saya teruskan lagi majlis ini dengan Saudari Nur Alia Syaura.
Baiklah, terima kasih Doktor atas perkongsian sesi pertama dan sesi kedua. Baiklah, sampai sini saja. Untuk mahasiswa, jangan lupa untuk isi link pendaftaran dan juga link ECJ. Terima kasih Doktor kerana sudi berkongsi dengan kami.
Okey, satu lagi saya nak update ya. Kalau bolehlah saya nak bagi tips ya. Sekarang ni ada banyak position ya yang mana government bagi grant kepada syarikat-syarikat untuk mendapat aplikasi-aplikasi yang sesuai untuk mereka membangunkan teknologi ataupun membangunkan produk-produk usahawan, right? And then most of the time this grant is very much related towards upgrading diorang punya pemasaran, ya, program-program pemasaran. Dan banyaknya daripada grant-grant ini adalah untuk membangunkan aplikasi teknologi. Alright, dan kebanyakannya adalah untuk kata nak bina mereka punya website, webshop, payment gateway dan seterusnya. So most of these SMEs ataupun companies ni dia akan cari position dropshipper, agent ataupun new franchisee for contoh ya. Yang mereka perlukan ada elemen kebolehan untuk bekerja secara sendiri. We call it self-built entrepreneurs ya. Self-built entrepreneurs sebagai dropshipper, agent, distributor, franchise dan business partners they call it ataupun business owners. So these are trend yang paling banyak terjadi sekarang ini sebab teknologi telah mencepatkan proses pengambilan apa dipanggil productivity yang tinggi ya. So in our dulu kita guna manusia untuk meningkatkan productivity banyak syarikat. Sekarang ni syarikat dia guna teknologi. Jadi mereka tidak perlu lagi menggunakan kaki tangan. So this is where kekurangannya jawatan dalam syarikat-syarikat sebab teknologi dah memainkan peranan untuk mengurangkan bebanan mereka. Di samping itu juga masa untuk menyelesaikan masalah itu sudah pun diselesaikan oleh teknologi. Kalau dulu manusia digunakan untuk menyelesaikan masalah, tapi sekarang teknologi digunakan untuk menyelesaikan masalah. Jadi apakah ruang yang teknologi tak boleh buat? Ruang yang teknologi tak boleh buat ialah nak memahami budaya. Memahami budaya teknologi tak boleh buat. Sebab itu elemen-elemen yang ada related dengan behavior dalam budaya. Alright? Dan elemen-elemen yang tentang preference, ya, klien punya preference, klien punya tabi'i ataupun klien elemen-elemen of choice, contoh ya. So all this perlukan talent yang berbeza. Tapi talent yang berbeza ini tidak sama dengan talent dulu. Tapi apa yang diajar mungkin dalam akademik ataupun dalam jurusan masing-masing, dia diajar tentang cara nak membuat sesuatu proses yang mana telah diambil alih oleh teknologi. So that's why you have to move yourself forward to go into the gap, the gap, jurang-jurang yang kosong tu tadi, yang mana tidak dipenuhi oleh teknologi. That is where you will get yourself into the job. Sekarang ni banyak orang yang nak menawar tawaran kerja adalah meliputi area-area ini, digital area, dropshipper area ini. So itu advantage pada millennial sekarang. Advantage dia bahawa kerja-kerja zaman-zaman dulu yang you kena mungkin pukul 5 pagi kena bangun, pergi kerja, kena ada kereta kalau nak pergi kerja, kena ada macam-macam lah untuk jalankan tugas tersebut. Mungkin mak bapak kita dulu buat kerja tu. Jadi bila kita dah besar ataupun dah akan pergi kepada dunia career, kita nampak kita tak buat kerja tu seperti mana mak bapak kita buat. Alright? So that's why kemudian mak bapak dia kata, kamu tak pergi kerja sekarang. Dia akan nampak pandangan negatif anak dia tak pergi kerja. Sebab dulu dia pergi kerja. So sometimes the perception about kerja ni tadi dah menjadi satu persepsi salah di kalangan parents. Sebab parents dulu kata saya pergi kerja pukul 5 pagi dah bangun. Pukul 5 pagi dah. Atau pukul 6, pukul 7, pukul 8 dah on the road. Tapi anak-anak sekarang mereka tidak bangun seperti mana yang mereka dah dulu. Sebab jawatan zaman sekarang ni dah lain dengan jawatan zaman dulu. So this is what I'm trying to tell to all the people who are looking for career. Sometimes you have to understand the current situation punya job scope tak sama dengan dulu punya job scope. That's why a lot of the academic world dia tak ajar current punya job scope. The academic world tend to ajar things of the past, ya, kerja-kerja lama yang dulu dijalankan oleh orang-orang generasi lama. Sekarang kita ni kena pergi generasi baru. Jadi generasi baru, banyakkan industri ni dia pergi ke industri baru. Bukan kerana dia nak pergi ke industri baru. Sebab perubahan yang pesat pergi kepada industri baru. Dan kebanyakan industri lama tu dah kena tinggal. So that's why they're looking for fresh graduate untuk dia latih. Sebab fresh graduate ni ibarat kain putih. Senang dilentur, boleh dilatih lagi. Ibarat orang-orang lama adalah seperti kain dah berwarna-warni. Dan mereka ni telah dicampuri dengan berbagai-bagai budaya yang mungkin dulu mereka datang daripada industri yang lama. That's why bila kita nak work with fresh graduate ini, fresh graduate dia jangan dipautkan dengan industri lama. Kalau dia dipautkan dengan industri lama, dia akan start to memilih kerja mengikut generasi lama. That is what I meant to say. Don't think that industri lama punya budaya, punya kerja itu akan menjadi industri baru. Tidak, Industri baru adalah something yang tidak ada orang yang tahu. Dia akan dibuat secara dia akan dibentuk secara semula jadi oleh generasi baru. Dia tidak dibentuk dengan semula jadi oleh generasi lama. That's why orang yang baru ini dia adalah membentuk generasi baru. That's why you are the frontiers. You are not going to be the laggers. Laggers ni orang yang lambat orang yang lambat sebab dia fikir industri yang menjadi industri baru. Tak. Industri baru adalah benda yang baru. That's why everybody is learning about the new way. Especially now dengan post-COVID, semuanya baru. Tak ada siapa yang boleh faham apa yang akan terjadi dalam masa 2 tahun yang akan datang. That's why the mindset of the fresh graduate, they must be willing to work positively dalam keadaan everything is new. Everything is new. Orang dalam industri pun new. So, dia orang pun tak tahu apa yang akan terjadi dengan industri baru sekarang. That's why you have to work hand in hand supaya dapat satu chemistry yang bagus and then move forward. Don't wait and think that everything is coming from the past. Dia tak ada dah. Everything is in the new era. Okay? I hope I give you all the good insight regarding what you need to be, all right? To be positive, strong, and then move on. Don't think about what has happened in the past is going to be your life career. No. The past is history. The future is your new wave. Your new wave. Benda yang you patut panggil be adventurous, be exploratory. Kalau you akan buat katalah digital video on our digital tourism, you're going to work with somebody from Kenya, you're going to work with somebody from Nairobi or whatever. Be it. Don't think about, I have to work in Malaysia alone, I have to be. Then you are putting yourself very backward. Move forward. Enjoy the new wave. You have to enjoy it, not making it as your blockage. Kalau you block yourself, no one can help you. No one. Okay? All right. I'll pass to the organizer again. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih sekali lagi untuk doktor yang telah memberi kata-kata semangat dan juga tips untuk kami para bakal graduan. Terima kasih doktor. Baiklah.
Thank you. So I hope message yang saya bagi tu tadi, because I want you all to know, I don't like to look at past results. I want to prepare you all for the future. So your mindset must be correct for the future. Not mindset to be fixed for past events. That's not what my role is. Past events, it's already past. Future events, it's for people who want to adventure. So be adventurous. That's what it meant to be.
Baiklah, terima kasih doktor sekali lagi atas semua pesanan, perkongsian dan juga tips-tips kepada kami. Terima kasih sekali lagi doktor. Baiklah, sampai sini saja slot kita, slot sesi pertama dan sesi kedua. Para pelajar diingatkan sekali lagi untuk tidak lupa mengisi link daftaran dan juga link e-sijil yang berada di komen. Okey? Terima kasih.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Take care. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Terima kasih doktor.
Okay.